Dating multiple guys, yeah, it's a joke. I didn't watch Love Island. I heard about it. And, you know, if you're not in the villa no more, but you still have that mentality, it's a problem. Respectfully. I'm sure she's a sweet girl and Shaq is the right guy for her. But when Shaq grows into his masculine manhood, he may see things a bit different. The sampling different things, it doesn't work like that. It's very, very Gen Z 2023. And, you know, if you're giving advice to someone like me, yeah, I'm not going to let that fly.
But in there...
Oof, baby. Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book 91. We are going to be talking to you guys about calculated couples. Let me put my screen back onto normal. We're going to talk to you guys about calculated couples. All right. So this show is in the UK. I see Mr. Paul Bridges is in the chat as well. Good on to the captain. We're going to talk about the latest episode 4. Crazy things are happening on this show. I actually really enjoy watching the show because it really does tap into couples and what they're kind of going through and, you know, some of the kind of issues that arise. So we're going to go into each of the couples. I think there's 5 of them. And I'll just give like the heading of each couple, what they're dealing with, and then we can discuss it for a few minutes and get you guys perspective. But before we go any further, talking about calculated couples, the show, let my fantastic panelists introduce themselves so they can let you know who they are, where you can find them, and how you can connect with them as well going forward. I'm gonna go to a person on my it's my left, but it's Charlene. It's you. So Charlene, if you could just introduce yourself, let them know who you are, what you're about, and how they can connect with you. Oh, you're silent, baby. There you go.
All right, I was complimenting your sexy voice.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Hi, everybody. I'm Charlene, the Vocal Alchemist. I help you to use your confident voice to make lots of money, baby. So the best place to connect with me is on Instagram at Charlene, the Vocal Alchemist, down below.
Beautiful. Thank you, Charlene. Max.
Love a cheeky conversation, and you can find me here.
What does Max sound like when you're watching those music videos and they're saying, I'm on a call? That's what it sounds like. Sorry. JR, talk to me. Go for it, brother.
Good evening, everyone. It's JRX TV on YouTube, JRX TV on IG, health, fitness, well-being on Instagram, relationships on YouTube, all the different components that give you a effect on your emotions, your well-being, your mental stability, your physical health, all plays a role. And yeah, I'm here to connect with my fellow contributors and discuss tonight's episode.
Beautiful stuff. Thank you, JR. Jeff.
Hello, everybody. It's Jeff Avenue in the building, content creator. You can find me on Instagram, find me on TikTok, into spoken word, into rapping, into poetry, into a lot of things, and I like enlightening conversations. Peace.
That's my brother. Love it. Kiki Palmer.
You know, I knew he was going to say something because I saw the look in his eyes. I thought he might even go for Snooki, but you know what? I'm gonna take Kiki Palmer. Kojo, I swear to God.
Sorry.
After this life is over, I'm having words with you. Anyways, my name is Kojo. I love a great conversation. I do not enjoy being made fun of for looking like Kiki Palmer. And I'm excited to have a conversation about this show. It's really interesting, and there's definitely a lot of personality in this show. But you can find me at Velvet Lizzie, which is below. That's just my Instagram. If you'd like to connect, I mean, there's not really much to connect over, but connect anyway.
Love that. She said connect over Wi-Fi. Jay, sorry, I said Jeff. Jay, talk to me, sir.
Yes, everyone. Jay Anderson here. I love all of you, but my Instagram is Jay Anderson King. Currently building a men's ministry. I'll let everyone know, actually. My first point of call, actually, I'm going to start doing interviews with key people in this space. So Kojo's going to be one of them. Charlene will be one of them as well, but there'll be more coming very, very, very soon. But let's enjoy this conversation. It's been great watching. Let's enjoy talking about it.
I like it. All right, let's get into the show. I'll play a little bit of a clip so you guys can get a little bit of a perspective of what's happening, and then we'll discuss from here.
We all have the ability.
It's just that people connect in different ways.
But you were not always spiritual.
Oh no, I was actually Christian, church every Sunday. And one of the things, every time I went to church, I asked for knowledge. I asked for understanding. And I never shun away from understanding other religions. I know there's a lot of people that will say, oh, he's Muslim. No, they're going to go to hell. Oh, they're this. Oh, no, they shouldn't be. I've never been like that. I've always been, I want to understand why they believe what they believe. Always do the research. And when we came together, I was lucky enough to get a lot of understanding on a lot of different things outside of him, doing my own research and getting a good understanding and having dreams, downloads from what other people call gods. I was getting downloads and I was getting a lot of understanding on how we should be living. All right, look, cool. It's about looking within. You need to understand.
Okay, so just to give a bit of context of what's happening here, they are from two different faith backgrounds, right? So she personally has an open-ended background when it comes to faith, right? She has a Christian background, but she's open to spirituality in all aspects. But she did say when they get married, they're going to have a Christian pastor. Who knows why? Then, obviously, he said he's from an open background too. Faith-wise, he doesn't have any particular faith. He believes in the divine power. I don't know how divine it is when you don't know the name of it, but it's divine, so it is there. So the question we're going to be asking, obviously, right now is, how important is faith, or what role does faith play in the dynamics of a relationship, in the sense of, if we have two, I mean, these people are quite close in terms of their faith. They don't have any specific rooted faith, but how does faith play a role, or religion play a role in relationships, in terms of one that's going to be healthy and long-term? And you can talk about the good or the bad, whichever, but what role does faith play in terms of a relationship? Because they're talking about their faith and their spirituality and how it helps them in terms of their relationship and guide them. What role does religion have in relationship, if any, if you believe so? Who would like to take this one on first? I know JR's doing the whole R&B cover, but JR, you can go first since you decided you're going to do Boys and Men. What's your thoughts here, sir?
I think it's completely down to how seriously you take religion. I mean, some people are very devout and they're practicing. Some people have it as like a moral compass, so it may guide them, but they're not necessarily worshipping as much as they could or should do. And then also, are they going to take everything literally from their faith and apply it in their relationship? Because I think you can do whatever suits you and your partner, but I think it's really down to how deep you want to take it. If you want to go back to the actual teachings and follow that doctrine in your relationship, then I mean, is it going to work in today's modern world? And if you are someone that kind of loosely follows it, knows the scriptures, knows the story, or whatever faith it is you believe, are you so relaxed about it that you kind of cherry pick and customize things to suit the relationship you're in? The final thing is, I think it also depends on where you see your relationship going. Like, if you see it going to marriage, for example, then I assume you're going to hold the faith aspect more seriously in that relationship because you intend to do life with that person and build life. So your ideologies need to be more aligned because you're going to be potentially having a family, raising kids, you know, and all those different things. Do you get the child christened, baptized? You know, are there any other religious practices that you may need to consider when you grow together? So, you know, I think it's very specific to what your goals are and who you're actually with. In a relationship where you don't see much hope of it going a long distance, you may not take on board the spirituality aspects as much. You muted.
Sorry, I'll say thank you for the succinctness. We're going to keep everyone to 2 minutes so I can ask more questions for you guys. Yes. Oh, who's got a mic open? Someone got a mic open? Who wants to go? Oh, no, they haven't. Okay, Jay, go for it. Answer this question. I mean, answer the question in this instance. You know, what role does faith play, religion play? I mean, in a romantic relationship, what role does it play? You have 2 minutes. Go for it, Cap. Hit us up.
To me, I think when you look at this couple, in case anyone hasn't seen it, they're the types of couple that talk about low vibrational, high vibrational. I'm surprised I haven't thrown in the word, you know, manifest and manifestation, right? So what I read from them is what I read from another couple, pastor and his wife, is that regardless of what's going on, they have that foundation together, right? Whatever is going on, they actually are equally yoked. And we know as a Christian, as the Bible says, be with someone who's equally yoked. So it wouldn't make sense for anyone who is devoted to Christianity to be with any of them. But because none of them are actually attached to any faith and they've found whatever they feel works for them, that's my example to say is actually very important for that, because they are, to me, they found it. They found what works for them. I'm not saying whether it's like, this is not about debating or what's right or what's wrong. This is just looking at, they found what works for them. You know, that wouldn't work if they decided to be with someone else who was a Christian or who was a Muslim. It is important because they found what works for them and they've made it work. You know, they keep all the noise out. They keep anyone who wants to throw in ABC out. What they have is a tight bond. So to me, the answer is yes. Though they're not Christian, they are an example of the fact that it is very, very important to be off the same hymn sheet.
Appreciate it, Jay. You actually answered my second question, but no problems at all. We appreciate you. You're in the spirit and pathetic. No worries. Precious, talk to me. What role does religion and play in romantic relationships?
I think it depends on your own relationship with religion. I mean, I've seen people with two different religions be able to figure it out and make it work. A lot of the times, though, I think it's easier if you've got similar foundations in your religion. So obviously, if you're two people from two Abrahamic faiths, obviously there might be some friction there, but it's also easier to make that work than if one of you is Buddhist and the other is Christian, for example. But I do think, yeah, it's about how important is it to you in your life? What kind of ways do you want to raise your children? Some people are happy to be able to show their children both things, and have that be what they move on with. I mean, but some people they're more entrenched. And I think if you're more entrenched in your religion, or or somebody who it's vital to you, then yeah, I don't think it makes sense for you to try and make a life with somebody who has a complete different religion to you. But like my mum is a Jehovah's Witness, my dad's a Catholic, and although they're two part of Christian denominations, they are very different religions. So it's just about what you envision for your life and what kind of thing you want to have. So but I do find in those kinds of relationships, you need somebody who's a bit more laissez-faire or a bit more laid back with it for it to work. I think it's difficult if they're both very adamant that they want to raise children in this and this and this, unless they're willing to merge and meet in the middle and be open to each other. It's going to be very difficult.
I appreciate you sharing that. Just for a minute, can you just give us a bit more understanding from your perspective what that experience is like then? Because your parents are from two different faiths, so interfaith. So if you just give us a minute breakdown just of your experience in terms of that mashup and how that looked from your perspective.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't ever really notice it until I got older, I think, and I realized, oh, yeah, my dad doesn't come to Kingdom Hall with us. I wonder why. So you notice it as you get older, and obviously growing up as a child, and I was mostly going to Kingdom Hall with my mum. We went every week until I was a certain age, and so that was kind of what I was more familiar with than the other side. My mum was born a Catholic, but she converted to Jehovah's Witness. So my mum and dad actually met after she had converted to Jehovah's Witness, which is quite interesting. But so it was never really an issue. There were aspects of the Catholic faith I was familiar with, and I kind of had an understanding of like mass and things like that. So it wasn't like I was completely separate from it. But I think because my mum, obviously, mums at times tend to be the primary caregiver. That was kind of the religion that we kind of fell into a bit more. I do kind of wish I'd grown up as more of a Catholic, because you'd be able to celebrate Christmas and birthdays. But as a kid, all of that stuff is more important to you. As you get older, it's not as important. But yeah, I don't think I really noticed it until I was like 10, 11. And then I was like, oh yeah, you two are different. And then I was like, okay, this makes sense. But it didn't ever cause any issues in my family. But I guess, again, as I said, they are two very different religions, but I guess because they're both kind of under the Christianity banner, maybe it was a bit easier than if, like, let's say my mum was like Jehovah's Witness and my dad was Muslim, for example. That might have been more difficult. But I don't know.
I appreciate it. Thank you for sharing that, Precious. Jeff, talk to me. A question we're talking about, obviously, what role does religion or faith play in a romantic relationship? As a general principle, what role does it play? Talk to us.
I think it determines your foundation, your identity, for one, how much you identify with your faith, if you guys have a similar faith or if you have a different faith. If two people are, I guess, dominant, if you have a dominant perspective in your faith or religion, if you guys are of a different faith, then there could be a potential clash, especially when it comes to cultural practices. If, say, you're marrying or in a relationship with someone who's either Christian or Muslim, I think there's also how much overlap there is in terms of principles. If there are similar principles that both religions have, sometimes people of different faiths can make it work, where there's a level of compatibility. We both believe in the same principles that are put in, whether it's the Quran or whether it's the Bible. I would say that it will also determine your outlook or your worldview on how you treat people. So how you will treat another person in your relationship, and also your outview in terms of romance as well. What principles you would use in order to be romantic towards your partner. And I think also when it comes to tumultuous situations, when you're going to be hit with challenges, how would you respond? How would you use your religious principles to respond to particular situations that are going to challenge and test your love and resolve for each other? That's what I think.
Love the points. Thank you. Max, religion, role in romantic relationships.
Yeah, so similar to other people, about how it allows you to have kind of a commonality and a foundation. I think for me, though, when I think about this particular couple, I think it's easy to be in sync when you're standing still. And so my only thing that I'd be deep in is, how do we actually move forward with our decision making? Like, if we are going now to make a decision, whether it's about the wedding or other things, what's our driving force? Like, is everything the divine? Like, every single thing we hear, is that the divine? Do we interpret every single thing the exact same way? Like, when you are doing something new and something different, I just wonder, like, how do we interpret everything, and how do we actually navigate all these different influences and otherwise. I think for someone who's of the same faith, they usually have a book, a holy book, which establishes, you guys are killing me, I don't know what's going on, but we move. But they usually have a holy book that will establish how they interpret things and how they move on. But I think if you are just spiritual and you're kind of, everything is subjective, I wonder how you process things and how that allows you to move forward.
Thank you, Max. So sorry. Jeff is out of order. I was so sorry. Max, you're making great points, by the way. It's just Jeff in the chat. Jeff said you sound like you're about to tell everyone to take their seats on a plane. I'm dying. I'm so sorry, Max. You actually making great points. I apologize. I don't know what's wrong with us today. We are laughing too much, guys. We need to be serious again. You know what I mean? Charlene.
Listen, I'm trying to hold it together. I really love what Jeff said. Sorry, stop it. Serious. Breathe. Woosah. Whew. Okay. All right. I really love what Jeff shared. And I was thinking actually that religion provides a sense of right and wrong, what to do in a crisis, who to call on in a crisis, and like a sense of direction. You know, like if you're in the Christian faith, you want to get to heaven, there's all of these different things. Sorry, I'm so sorry. We are professionals, we promise. Okay. Similar to Precious, actually, I come from a very blended family myself in terms of religion. So I've got siblings who are Jehovah's Witness with their mother. I was raised Seventh-day Adventist, and my dad just kind of does his own thing. You don't need to stop it. Guys, I can't. Sorry, guys, everyone in viewers, please forgive. Unmute, coach. I can't even finish. I can't.
I'm so sorry. Yo, the chat is lighting me up, yo. I know the audience can't see it, but our private chat is killing me. I apologize, guys. We are professionals. We are. Charlie, I'm so sorry. I apologize. I'm trying to be better. Woo, baby. Oh my days. Hey, yo. Y'all need to see it. Oh my days. Oh, I need to get it out. Because woo.
She said, no, you're not rude. Oh.
I need to get it out. I'm so sorry, Max. I'm so sorry, Max. You know, if those of us who can't see the joke, we were talking about Max's audio. It sounded like she was giving plane. Like it sounded like she was on a plane telling everyone to sit down. So that's why we're laughing. Because she sounded like she was on a plane, and she's putting in a chat that we made her stay. I apologize, guys. It's my fault. I need to lead better. So I'm gonna do my best. Charlene, sorry, I apologize. You know, my laughter and everyone else has caught you.
Sorry.
Okay,
I
apologize. No, it's all right. It's all right. You know, you have these moments. We have these moments where, you know, it's contagious. We're gonna try again. Because you were making some good points. So we're talking about faith and how it impacts romantic relationships. And so just give us a perspective once more again. You know, if you do laugh, guys, we will try and keep it to a minimum.
Right. So I was just talking about religion and faith giving you like a sense of direction, right? Where do we go after we die? There's so many different things, but I was saying that I was raised in a pretty blended interfaith family. And so my siblings are Jehovah's Witness. I was raised Seventh-day Adventist. My dad does his own thing. Pentecostal, I guess, and it caused conflict. It caused a lot of conflict because, as you can imagine, stop it and scene. Oh no! See, I'm muting. I can't. We are so sorry.
And my foot.
Oh, yo, I want tears in my eyes. Oh my god.
Sorry, that's my fault. My fault. Let's be professional. Let's go.
I'm not repeating myself. I'm muting.
Oh,
Oh.
yo, Max. Oh, wow. All because of audio. Woo. Well, let's move it on. Let's move it on. Let's get you guys' perspective on the couple. So the couple who had just who actually said that they're spiritual. Let's get their perspective. I want to get you guys' thoughts. What was your thoughts on the actual couple? So I think the name is, what's the name? Jay, you know the name. You know the name.
No, I can't remember.
Okay, well, the couple, I want to get Miles. That's it, Miles and Shay. Miles and Shay. I want to get your thoughts on Miles and Shay and their actual relationship. So I'll just play a little bit of the clip, and we can restore some order as well.
Bond and a connection that we have. It's like penguins. Penguins find one mate, they're together. That is us. We are locked in. Words from someone overseeing this means nothing. It's about what we're doing in our space, not what anyone thinks they can, put in our space. The rest of it's noise, man. It means nothing. It's about us. Forget the rest.
Did you draft up the contract yourself?
No, it goes back to the book. It's in
the book.
You have
in
to
the
read
book.
the book to understand where we are.
Okay, oh wait.
All right, cool. So I want to get you guys' perspective. What was your thoughts on the actual couple themselves? I know I asked a general question at the beginning. What is your actual thought to the actual couple and their relationship so far as well? So let's go to someone who's not going to laugh. Jay, you've been sensible. So I want to get your thoughts on this couple. I know you kind of said it a little bit earlier on, but I think you need to restore some order. So please go ahead.
Do you know, I'd write a comment in the chat. What's the main question they want to answer?
So just on the couple themselves, what's your actual viewpoint on the couple? So on this episode, what they discussed, just give us a general overview, what your thoughts were on them as a couple. Anything that you noticed or observed, anything that you can bring to the foreground. Just want to get your overall thoughts.
Well, first of all, their story reminded me of my own story because they was together 10 years ago, right? And they both went in their different directions. He felt he had to work in himself. Since then, he's got, I guess, properties, business, etc. So he's had a journey himself to get to where he is as a man. And what they say is that she was already doing well at that stage, but she's also had her own journey. So the way I look at it is, as I said in the beginning, I'm not going to give you the story about how they found each other again, but them coming together is a unique experience where they literally have come back together with the same understanding when it comes to life, with the same understanding when it comes to faith. Now, I'm a Christian, by the way, so I have my own perspective on what they're talking about, but in terms of referencing them as a couple, I stand by it. They have found what works for them. This is a perfect example of why faith matters, because they're so strong in their, they don't want to label what they believe in, but they're so strong in their beliefs that it wouldn't make sense if they was with Christians or Muslims or any other faith. It wouldn't make sense. And to them, that bond that they have means it's unbreakable. So that's my observation of the couple, that, they do have a lot to give. From a faith point of view, we know where we can go with that conversation, but they have a lot to give as a couple. I found them quite interesting, quite pleasant to listen to, just like some others. And I can't wait to get to Paul's favorite couple or Paul's favorite man, but we leave that for another time.
Thank you very much for that, Jay. Thank you. Max, don't go yet. We want to hear your perspective straight from I want to get your perspective on the couple, your actual thoughts on the actual couple. We'd love to hear your thoughts from Atlantis. Thank you. Go for it.
No, look at it. Don't worry, I'll rejoin from another device. Just go to someone else. I'm coming.
No worries. JR, what's your thoughts on the actual couple? On the actual couple, want to get your perspective. You're silent. Hold on. You muted. Go for it, bro.
Yeah, they strike me as a happy couple. They seem to be customizing certain aspects of the relationship, making it work for them. They seem to be in agreement on the way that the direction they're heading towards. They got the ring sorted out and everything. And I also paid close attention when Miles was saying that he didn't care who oversees the wedding. And that to me signaled that, yeah, they're customizing, because they're not really paying attention to whether it's going to be a pastor, an imam. It doesn't really matter. All that matters is that they're together and they progress their relationship in the way that they've both agreed upon. So I found that very interesting, because obviously it's a modern day relationship. It's not based on traditional values as such, but it's based on values that are important and work for them. So very refreshing to see.
Thank you, JR. Appreciate it. Jeff, what's your thoughts on the couple? What do you think about this couple?
They seem like a pretty solid couple to me. I term their marriage like a Burger King marriage. Like, they're customizing it, they're having it their own way, and like McDonald's, they're loving it. So I can't fault them for the fact that, they're a modern couple and they're seeking to, do what they want to do. If they're compatible in terms of their values, hey, they seem to be happy together with it. So if it works for them, it works for them. I can't hate on it. I just hope that when it comes to them doing the whole chopping and changing, they are able to have some form of structure that works for them, because you don't want to be somebody that is continuously transformizing some type of marriage where there isn't a set guideline as how you guys are going to do it. But if it works for them, it works for them. So that's my 2 cents on it.
Love that. Precious, what's your thoughts on this couple? Shay and Miles.
I won't lie to you, with all the laughing, I've completely forgotten what they said. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm gathering from what people have said. They have an unconventional marriage and relationship. And honestly, I think we've seen a lot of stuff in the news about Jada and Will and their unconventional marriages. So I think if this is something that is healthy for them and it's working for them, then by all means go for it, because a lot of the times, I think sometimes relationships can, for some people anyway, be very I guess claustrophobic, and then all the labels and titles and the do's and the don'ts and things doesn't always work for people. And for me, I like to have containment, I like to have context, I like to have categories, and so things like that works for me. But for some people that feels very trapping. So if it's a situation where they're agreeing upon new terms and conditions and new requirements for them that feels as though it's working, then that's the basis of a lot of relationship counseling in general. So if it's not hurting anybody, they're equally happy and it's balanced and it's reciprocal, then by all means, you do you, boo.
Love that. Charlene, what's your thoughts to this couple? Like, did you gather anything, only observations that you wanted to make known?
I mean, they lost me a bit when they started talking about squares and breaking out of your square. I don't like guys, stop. I don't like doesn't matter what I don't like. What I will say is that they seem as if they're on the same page when it comes to how they see God and spirituality, and that's what's important.
That's a very calm answer. Max, because I know you want to say more, but Max, give us your perspective on this couple. I believe you've got some wisdom to give us because you've been underneath the waters for a long time. So give us your perspective.
You're not serious.
Ooh,
but
yes.
yeah,
Ooh.
is it back? Okay, I'm back.
Oh, baby, go on, baby.
Back to land.
It's like a fresh new haircut. Go on, baby.
To be fair, I was low-key answering this question last time. I think my thing is, as Charlene was saying, them being on the same page is valuable. My only thing that I didn't fully get from what they were saying is how they turn pages, in a sense, in theory, in terms of if everything is new and subjective, pardon me, and everything is the divine speaking to them, then how do they refine things? Like, what isn't the divine communicating, and how do we come on to, like, if we are getting two different messages, how do we then move forward? Because everybody's right and everybody. So maybe that's just they didn't get to share enough about how their belief works. But yeah, I definitely think that it just seemed like everything works, everything's subjective, anything goes, and I wonder how we make decisions in that kind of environment. I'm sure they have a way, but I feel like the foundation of what works for them is that they are in agreement. So I'm almost wondering what happens when they disagree, and how do we move forward? Because I think in faiths they might use the Bible as like okay, but this is the be all and end all. God says this. So I wonder how they do that.
Good point. Charlene, go for it. You want to add something quickly? Go for it.
I was just going to say that they seem like they're very progressive, always learning something new. And because they're not legally married, are they? Not yet. But they plan to get married on paper as well as everything else. But they're the kind of couple that tend to grow quite quickly, and they will probably try out different things before they settle on one thing, if they ever do settle on one thing. My only thing about this couple is, as long as they grow together and they're not just on separate spiritual journeys, as long as they are growing together, they'll be all right.
You want to add something, Jay? Go for it.
Yeah, what I like to that is, I think Max, you mentioned it. She said, I guess we didn't show in this clip, but what she said is, he was always like this. Whereas, no, I said in the beginning actually, whereas she was questioning. So she also mentioned that she learned certain things from him. So I guess if we're talking about the whole, who makes the decisions, leadership, submission, authority, at least from those few comments, I would say that she probably listens to him a lot more, listens to his judgment, and she's felt a certain way based on, I guess, his teachings and certain things she's found out for herself. So I believe that she has full trust in him with the man that he is now. So I believe they do kind of naturally have the type of typical setup, but because there is no structure, foundation, teachings that they take from, I do believe it is very ad hoc. But I mean, like we've all said, it's because they're both there. The hope is really that they continue, because if she decides to go back to Christianity or he decides to jump on to something else, that's when it could be a problem. So I do agree with it.
Love those points. All right, next couple we're going to a second couple, and I think this one for me, yeah, this is where the interest is lying for me, because some of the things that have been said, this one I know that trouble is brewing. Yeah, it's brewing. All right, cool. Let me get this up for you guys. And CLV, let's go.
Down for you. She went to Italy. She was riding the bird. She went to Ghana. She was on the flight with you. She even came back to London again. She lived at your mum's house.
Hold on.
You know how much it cost to get married in a reception?
Yeah, I know. How much? I know a lot. Even just venue, 10,000. No. I think just venue.
10,000. Let me break it down now. You see, when you have the registry, that one, it costs £113. You can start your life. Now, with the ring, obviously, it depends on what's going on based on your story.
So obviously the conversation is this couple, they if you don't know, quick background, they have been together for a little while, but she has loved him through jail, has gone to Italy with him, has gone to Ghana with him. This is the original Love and Locked Up, okay, British style, okay. This is the original Ride or Die, okay. All right, this is the Bonnie and Clyde, okay. So at the point in time they are now, he's untagged, but she wants a ring. Okay. All right. So she's looking for the ring at the moment. And she actually tried to propose to him as well. So, yes, she said, ladies, what you want, you go and get what you want. Right. So, but I want to get your perspective. I want to ask a question to you. what is the issue, if there is any, with jailbird love? You know what I mean? I want to ask that general question, you know. And have you ever been a jailbird lover? You know, I want to ask that question. You ever done a papoose? You know what I'm saying? Have you ever done a Remy Ma situation? You know what I mean? You know, but what is it? What is the issue behind someone wanting to stay in a relationship when the person has gone to prison? Shouldn't more of us people show such loyalty to such people? You know, shouldn't we be there in the most direst of moments when that person needs you most, when that gavel has gone down, and you are getting your years handed to you? Shouldn't you be loyal in those moments and show yourself approved that you genuinely care for these persons? Okay, general question. What is wrong with ride or die when it comes to this situation? If anything's wrong, you know, we'd love to hear your opinions. Okay, this jailbird love. Max, since you last go, I'll let you go first. Max, talk to us.
So you're asking me if I've ever dated a jailbird?
You can answer that question, yeah, and then you
Yeah,
can say what is wrong with being a jailbird lover or a ride or die.
No. What's wrong with it?
Mm.
I don't know if I would say there's something wrong with it. I think it depends what time in the relationship it happens. Because like if you're already married, 3 children, locked in, some people may decide that this is the father of their kids, the mother of their kids, so they're going to keep that going. I think before then, if you're dating and you stand by someone who goes to jail, I think that's in theory admirable, but I think it's a lot to expect of a person, and it's a lot to give. And I think if you're going to give it, manage your expectations well. Make sure you manage yourself so that you know what you're giving, and you know that because you give doesn't mean you'll get. I think sometimes we give with a thought of like, oh, because I've given this is the standard of love I'm going to receive. It's not. So if we're all clear on the fact that you've just given it and you're not necessarily expecting certain things as a response, then I think that then fine, you've made an informed decision. I think if you think differently, you might be disappointed.
Love that. Thank you very much, Max. Now I know what your audio sounded like. It sounded like he was in jail. Anyway, Precious, talk to me. What's your thoughts on the situation? You know, not on the situation, sorry. What's your thoughts on ride or die kind of energy? You know, should you be doing it? Should you not be doing it? Have you ever been a ride or die? Talk to us.
Well, I did date somebody who went to jail.
Hey!
No.
Cookie Lion! Cookie Lion! I told you that. Cookie Lion.
I wanted to see who believed that. And of course, Kojo was the one that was going to go.
Oh, it's not true. Okay, my bad.
Because everybody knows me and they know. They know. Yeah, I don't know. For me, I think, yes, it's admirable that you want to stand by your person when they go to jail. I think it depends on what they went to jail for, number one. And agreeing with Max, it depends on where your relationship is. If we've been married for like 7 years and you went to jail because of self-defense over one of our kids, over me or whatever, or even self-defense over yourself, then yeah. But if you committed a crime knowingly and willingly, I don't know about that. I don't know because it's a moral thing. It's not just, oh, you got caught up in something or you were trying to defend yourself. Now it's a moral thing. The person that I married, who I thought morally wouldn't do something like this, has now done something like this. So that's changed the whole game. For me personally, I think that's a no-go. If it's like dating and stuff like that, definitely not. We're not doing that. You know, I've come across some people who have been very open and have said, you know, I've been to jail. This is why I went to jail for. And I'm like, that's fine. That's great. Like, thank you for being honest and sharing that. I don't think we're compatible, and that's okay. I just think, yeah, for me, it's just not something that I feel comfortable with. And I think, you know, anyone who's willing to do it, that's fine. I think in this particular case with these two, I really wish she would have left a long time ago. It's bizarre to me. It's very bizarre. But I don't think I've ever been in love that deeply to do what she's doing. So maybe that's what it is. Who knows? But yeah, it's not for me. Sorry.
Thank you, Precious. Jeff. Jailbird House Love. Yes, no?
Yeah. I can't relate to that. They say love can make you do crazy things, and I guess I'm not crazy yet. No, I can't do it. You can't do it. Like Precious said, jailbird love. First of all, what did you go to jail for? If it was a case where you committed an act of self-defense, your life was in danger, I can understand that. But if you killed someone, murdered somebody with intent, I'm sorry, my morals say, Miwa, I can't do it. I think people admire this concept of being loyal to the bitter end. That's not me. I'm not loyal to a fault. I'm not loyal to a blind fault. I'm more loyal to my principles. And if what you did does not align with my principles, I can't do it. Also, you have to keep in mind, someone being in jail, quality time is limited. Limited. Do you honestly think I'm going to be able to spend 24/7 with you talking on the phone and literally having to put my hand on the glass? I can't do that. I'm sorry, I can't do it. Some people like it. I can't do it. And then intimacy. I got needs. Listen, I can't be just sitting at home playing Nina Simone. I'm not feeling good right now. I'm not feeling good. I can't do it. And yeah, Mio, I can't do it. Sorry. The whole ride or die thing, I get it, but I don't want to die in this relationship where it feels so one-sided. So I'm sorry. Jailbird, no, I want to be free like a bird. I want to be free. So no, I'm sorry, I can't do it.
Fair enough. Appreciate that. He said he can't do it. He said fly like a bird. I want to fly away. Charlene, tell us your thoughts. Ride or die. Why? Yes, no. Have you ever been a jailbird lover? Talk to us.
Never, never, no. No, 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 never. And one thing that I'll say that, because I pretty much agree with everything that everyone has said, but when someone goes to jail, it takes time to rebuild their life, you know. It's not just do the sentence and then go home and everything's fine. It takes time to rebuild your life, to start padding out your CV again. It takes time. So you're not just committing to the jail sentence, you're committing to the rebuild. And my girl in this relationship, I agree with Precious that she should have left a long time ago, but she wants a ring and she wants it by any means necessary. So she's going to stay until she gets a ring. Why would you want a ring from somebody that clearly is not in a position to provide that for you and clearly is not ready to be a husband? I don't know, but that's your business. But I'm just saying, if you're going to commit to the ride or die, know that the death and the resurrection and the life takes time. That's it.
Thank you. JJR. Jailbird love. You look like you could do it, bro.
No, I think there are a range of factors to consider, right? Because obviously there are people that do it. Like there can be instances where both of you are complicit, but only one of you gets sent down. So you're staying with them, hoping for them to get out, but you're lucky you didn't go down as well. But I have seen, like, you know, other people experience it quite a few times actually, but never personally. I've never been inside. Don't intend to go there. And I'd also think that the offense, like Jeff said, I think the offense that was committed also plays an important role in whether you can stay with the person, because they could have done something against you and gone to jail. You know, they could have physically harmed you or put you in jeopardy. Or if they've, you know, punched someone in the face and then, you know, hit the head on the concrete and then end up going to jail for a long time and all of that stuff, is this level of violence something that is, you know, a feature of their personality? So, you know, there's many different reasons why, but those are just a few that I can think of straight away where it'll just be like an immediate no. And I will say a lot of the time that I have seen this jailbird love situation, it has gone a bit crazy because the lady that says she's gonna wait then starts to go and date and do other things and sometimes get pregnant while the man she's been telling she's waiting for is in jail. So when he comes out, then he comes home to another man's stuff in his yard. So I've seen that before. And I'd also say that more importantly, going to jail changes people. So is this person the same person after spending that time in jail? Are they the same person when they come out? Because if you can imagine being in isolation or being in a place where you're confined 23 hours of the day, you may get hazed, bullied, there may be fights, there may be loads of things going down in there. And when you come out, or when the person comes out, what are they like? Has it changed their personality to the point where you need to really consider whether this is the same person that went in? So for me, it's not something that I would recommend. And no shade to those who have done it, because it's obviously a personal choice, if you decided to wait, but it's not something that I would think is going to be a good idea.
Thank you very much. Jay, Jailbird Love, Jailhouse Love, is that you? You look like a man that could do time.
Why?
It's the beard and the hat that you're wearing. It looks like you're ready to do time.
You want me being jail?
You look like you can do. You look like you could do the time outside or inside, whichever one you're willing to do.
Nah, do you know what? This is actually a hard conversation for me, not because I've got personal experience, because I generally think to myself, what would I do? But I think it really does depend on the crime. I think me and my missus, we even talked about this. If she got 5 years or something like that, what would I do? And it is I'm trying to understand where. So I don't actually remember her name, but I'm trying to understand where she's coming from, because she's literally in love. She's literally infatuated. And for me, if I was in that state, I mean, I can say no, and I'm a man as well. But if I feel like someone is really, really worth it, could I? Maybe. It would be a shock, really, but could I? Maybe. I'm not sure. But then if I was in jail, what would I do? Would I expect my missus to be ride or die in, which is a very difficult position to put someone in? Like, I know people personally who are currently experiencing this, and even Miles before he went to prison, actually. We didn't get to see that clip, but he went to prison. But as part of that lifestyle, he said, you know what? I'm going to break up with you. You go and do what you want to do. But this guy, he gave her this option and she said no. So I don't know. My answer is I really don't know what would I do. And that's my honest answer. Probably a shock to some, but I don't know what I will do, but
Cheers, guys. Thank you for that. All right, listen. So obviously the couple themselves, they have their own story. You guys have watched the episode, so I'm gonna play a little bit of oh my god. We're gonna play a little bit of the clip. Okay, because the jailhouse love is real. I just want to play this for you guys.
However, technically speaking, £100. I mean, I can send you £100 though. You gotta get that ring.
No, it's not about £100, bro. You see this girl? If I propose to her with £100 ring, it's not gonna work.
That means she's the problem.
It's not gonna work.
I already tried to propose to him. He said no. So how am I the problem?
How can I let you propose to me? That's not what you want.
It's madness. What's your thoughts on this couple? Because this couple, they're the space where she's even proposed to him, as well. So she's even taking the lead. So I want to get you guys' thoughts. What's your thoughts on this actual couple and their particular relationship at this particular moment? Who would like to hit this first? Jeff, go for it, because you know what? I've gone to other people first, so you can go first. What's your thoughts on this couple?
I don't know what to make of this. I really don't know what to make of this. First of all, for her to go as far as propose to him, only ring you're going to get is suffering, my friend. No, it's not good. Not good. I don't think it's a good idea. I think there's a level of, clearly she must be in love with the guy. There must be something about him that's wanting that she's wanting to go to this level to stay with the brother, even to propose. He must be doing something right. So I don't know what to make of this guy. It's just weird. This whole dynamic is just weird to me. That's all I can really say. It's I have to commend her for her, I guess, tenacity, determination to do all of this for a guy who's been in jail for how long? And I guess I would have to assume that there's some sort of lifestyle that she's looking for this. I think, but yeah, this is a weird dynamic for me. Yeah, that's all I can say.
Thank you, Jeff. No worries. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate you. Precious, talk to me. What's your thoughts on this couple? What's your thoughts? You know, they're talking about, you know, marriage, talking about a ring. They talked about his ankle monitor, talks about how she's flown different countries for him. It's a real ride or die story. What's your thoughts on this couple? And what's your observations?
I always thought I was a very loyal person until I see stories like this where people will really do a lot. I don't know what the dynamic of their relationship is. I don't know if it's like I've invested a lot of like time into this person and maybe she's feeling like it's too late to restart. Or, you know, or maybe there was a lifestyle she was living with him before he went to jail that she's hoping can be re-established. Maybe the sex is really good. I don't know, but I just think that there's a lot. Yes, Kojo, how can I help you?
I'm just wondering how you had sex in jail, but go for it.
No, I mean before the sex, and also you can like you have conjugal visits, which is another reason maybe he should have married her. But you know, anyways, moving on. But I just don't understand. Like, yeah, I don't understand what's keeping her there. It doesn't seem like a very healthy relationship. I think even without the jail part, as Charlene said, it doesn't seem like he wants to get married. There doesn't. From the entire time they were speaking about it, I know that things have come into play. There was some mental health issues, obviously going to jail, things like that. But it doesn't seem like there's an actual plan. It doesn't sound like he's actually put a plan together to say, okay, cool. In the next 5 years, I want to be able to do this, this, and this so that we can then get married. And I think if there was a plan of action being put in place, then I can understand why she's still around. It doesn't look like he's put any plan of action and he's kind of just going by the seat of the pants and just going with the whim of things. And maybe it is that rebuilding phase, but I think the most important part of the rebuilding phase is having a plan. And so it doesn't come across that he has a plan. It comes across that he's kind of hoping that she will stay long enough that she'll just let it go. And I always say, like, you have to have some non-negotiables that you have in the relationship. And maybe, you know, I've always said marriage can for some people be a negotiable thing, whereas maybe kids is a non-negotiable, because I think kids change your entire life trajectory. So that makes sense for it to be a non-negotiable. I think for some people marriage is really, really important. And I just think I don't know if they've got kids or anything, but I just think if you're not able to make that commitment of marriage, then any other commitment moving forward kind of just feels null and void. But yeah, it doesn't seem like he's ready. It doesn't seem like he wants to get married. I'm surprised he's not going with what Tunde from Couples Blue Therapy, the new thing, is saying about the whole like not wanting to sign a paper, because it just doesn't seem like he's really in that place. And it sounds like he's kind of giving that, you know what it is, you know that I'm, you know, I love you, you know what this is. And it's like, what is this? It's a lot of like flowery words around a very concrete thing of, I want to get married to you in X amount of years. So I just think I just feel like she needs to be a bit more assertive and say, look, you need to formulate a plan of when this is going to happen. If not, I think this needs to end. But yeah, I don't know. For me, for me personally, we wouldn't even gotten to this point. This relationship would have been long over. So
Thank you very much, Precious. Max, what's your thoughts on this couple?
It's kind of hard to analyze because I actually agreed with Paul's rationale of like, if you're willing to ride with him through everything, why can't you take the cheaper ring and the stripped back wedding and move forward? Because it's like, you've done much more than that. So how comes this is a bigger deal? But then I feel like he's also considerate of her, because he's saying, I know that's not what you want. Like, even you proposing to me, that's not what you want. Even £100 ring, that's not what you want. So it's kind of, I don't know. It kind of feels like maybe he's in a situation where he can't provide what his heart desires because he wants to please her. And it's a bit of a standstill in a way, because he can't provide it. She wants the reassurance, but she wants it in a certain way. And so, like, how do they move forward from this? I'm kind of confused. Because even when they did that breakdown, I don't know if you're going to show the video of when he's like, she was like, oh, you'll make more money, then you'll make more money, then you'll make more money. Like, her expectation is that, listen, get on your feet. Let's start running. Like, it's almost like the grace period has ended in a sense. It's almost like now she's like, I've been investing and now I'm ready for the return. And he's like, but the return isn't yet. Like, it takes me a minute to kind of get back on my feet. And it's almost like now she's like watching the clock a little bit, like, but I've been gracious to you. Like, I've been here. And by now, you know, and just the final thing I'd say is, I think I can understand why she wouldn't necessarily want £100 ring, because when she's gone through all that sacrifice, I'm sure she's had all those naysayers. And now you want to show that this was worthwhile. You want to show, listen, I was right to stand by him. Look at my 5K ring. I was right. You know, he was. So it's almost like you're trying to persuade yourself of the decision you've made as well. So I think that a certain type of ring, the certain type of proposal, those are all forms of validation, I think, that she's seeking for herself, because she knows she has gone above and beyond.
Wonderful.
Wonderful. Yep. I'll definitely hear that. Charlene, have I gone to you yet? Talk about the couple. What's your thoughts on this actual couple? What's your thoughts on them?
My question about this couple is, she clearly has a time frame and a plan for how she wants things to be done. But if your time frame, your plan, and your expectations are grating against what actually is, how much does she want him versus how much does she want the idea of him? That's my question.
Sorry about my technology was messing up there for a sec. I should have pressed on mute. Thank you. I appreciate it. JR, what's your thoughts on this couple?
Well, like I said, this couple, I'm not sure how far they can really take it, because I think that in all seriousness, he seemed quite reluctant with how far they're going to go. She was kind of applying the pressure, and he seemed quite cool. Maybe he lost a lot of years. I don't know. I can't remember, but maybe he lost some time and he just wants some time outside, you know, testing the water, so to speak, before making a commitment. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure how far I see this couple going.
Cool. Appreciate it. Jay, talk to me. Your thoughts on this couple.
I might cause a bit of tussle with my comment, but to me, this is an example of where a girlfriend or woman completely confuses their expectations on what is going to be required as a husband, of which he's acknowledging in terms of the responsibility that comes with it. Because he's obviously paid for certain things in jail, that's not a representation of what he's able to do as a husband. And he's aware of this. And I feel like she's romanticizing the ride or die mentality. She's romanticizing her efforts. And don't get me wrong, I guess it was amazing. you know. And by the way, he's on immigration tag, so he can't even really work. He can't even really study. He is really restricted. He is not going to be, unless she's happy to have a minimal life, he is not ready to be a husband for a couple of years. He's 30, she's 27. So to me, I think her mindset has really gone away to the fantasy of whatever she believes she's doing, whoever believes that she's, you know, going to get in the end. And someone put this in the comments, right? I can understand that you don't want to leave, because what if he does level up? But I mean, it's very rare for that to be turned around in 1 or 2 years. Very, very rare. I'm not saying can't happen, but it's very rare. So to me, she has to manage expectations properly. And doesn't matter what he's been able to do in jail, he's making it clear, like, yeah, I did certain things, but that doesn't reflect on what type of, you know, husband I can be. I need to sort myself out first, which is what Miles did, right? So yeah, to me, this is an alarming situation, because she may be this happy in this fantasy land now, but when the reality of the situation, you know, occurs, you know, wherever they live, whatever they're going to do, the lack of money in the household, maybe the lack of direction that he has, is going to be a serious problem.
Thank you very much, Jay. I appreciate that. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think this couple, yeah, their situation, she's wasted too much time. And my biggest question was actually asking what was going on in her home, that she felt this was necessary to date somebody who was in jail and be absolutely loyal to him up until this point. I was asking several questions like that, because she went as far as even going to stay at the person's house, stay at his mother's house for a little bit as well. I was like, why are you so malleable that you're willing to do all of this for somebody? And usually when people go really over the top trying to love and show appreciation and just, you know, be there for the person, it's because you've been robbed of that yourself. You know what I mean? And you're just trying to make up for that, what you didn't have, and someone else. You're trying to show that complete loyalty for them because you didn't have that. But it's like, this is going to backfire on you, because if you don't get what you want, you're going to be in trouble. She's almost in a catch-22 now. She quits now. You know what I mean? Like, she's already quite deep in it. She's what, 26, 27? She's still got time though. Like, she's still a beautiful girl. She's gonna done BBL. So the boys that like the big bumps, they're gonna see her. You know what I'm saying to you? So like, but what is interesting about it is that relationship may suffer between her and him, because he did tell her, go and explore. And she said no, she wants to stay loyal, and she wanted to stay loyal all the time. And she did stay loyal, and then I think they did take a break for a little bit, and then it came back again. She should have gone and taken her time and gone off, like he said. She should have left him, gone about her business, and then when he comes out, then see where he's going to be at. Give him some time to get himself on his feet. But right now, there's too much pressure. Now he knows there's pressure, because you're saying to him you want him to be something before it's time. The brother's still got a tag on his foot. What do you want him to be? Okay, all right. The brother's still got a tag on his foot. So, you know, that is not a plaything. Immigration around the corner. Okay, before you know it, he shipped off again. So it's like, this situation is political for her. I think, you know, she's almost in a catch-22. She's kind of stuck in it now, but I think she should cut her losses and go out about her business. You know what I'm saying? You've been loyal. You can show you can be loyal. Now go and learn. You know, go and spend some time on your own, grow, mature, and then get to that next, you know, hopefully the next relationship should be the one that you would speak to you. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's it. All right, next couple, quickly, because it is getting a bit late, and I know you guys, you know, we're in UK, you know, I usually stay up late, but I'm asking you guys to do a business for me, so I appreciate that. All right, next couple is Shay, it's Tanya, sorry, and Shaq. Oh.
Nah, there's nothing there now, and that was the perfect environment to do that. So I took him back, carried on getting to know him, and everybody wanted to kill me because I did that. And I don't know why people are like that. I think it's normal. Like, in the real world, outside of the villa,
You date.
I was telling him this. I was like, I would have been speaking to about 4 people at once, going on dates, doing this, doing that. Then when I see that, oh, this one really likes me, he speaks to me all the time, he's all the things that I want, they can get dropped. The rest can get dropped.
Guys, listen. Obviously, you know, I don't have anything against Tanya personally, but the dating multiple guys, yeah, it's a joke.
So let me get your perspective on this. Dating multiple people, and okay, let me give you a scenario, because the scenario they actually gave was, in their situation, they were on Love Island, course, Love Island's got a specific set of situations which are very unique to the show. But they were, let's say, as a dating scenario, you are dating someone, you love them. You said I love you. You've given them poursoir. Are you then still open to dating at that point, or is it a lockdown thing? Because you've said I love you, you've exchanged I love yous, you've given each other the poursoir and the delash. At that point, is dating still up for grabs? Are you still open to dating, or are you locking it down? That's what I want to know. If you're at that point, I want to ask that question to you guys. Can someone answer that for me? Okay, let's see who hasn't gone first for me. Okay, who hasn't gone first? Well, Precious, go for me. Thank you.
Why is it this one that you decided to put me as first?
It's just how it played about. I can't lie to you, darling. I promise you, I wouldn't do that to you.
Anyways, no, I think for me to even get to the I love you stage, we would have to be in a relationship. Like, why am I saying I love you to a situationship? No, just no. Like, what's happening here? So yeah, I think for me, it doesn't really make sense. You can't say that you love somebody and then you're like, oh, but I'm gonna continue dating other people. Like, what are we on about? We have women over here going to Ghana for the men because of love, and you're trying to date other people. Stop it. So I think, yeah, for me personally, that doesn't really make sense. And I think if you want to then go date somebody else, then yeah, you can go date somebody else, but you just won't be dating me anymore. And you know, all's fair in love and war, but I just think that's just ridiculous. Like, how can you even get that far and not have an established relationship?
Good points. Jay, what's your thoughts on this? You know, saying I love you, and then, you know, you guys have actually intimately consummated a relationship, and then you're still open for dating other people at that point. How would you take that? What's your thoughts?
I mean, my thoughts are, whether you're on a Love Island show or not, that's a lot to do. I mean, you're gonna say you love. In context, they started sleeping together from the first week, and what, you know, and yeah, that's a lot. But I understand this younger generation; they're very, very, very different. I mean, men generally haven't valued our bodies. That's why, you know, we do reckless things. And I can see the younger generation of women. It's not just younger generation, but we can see more. If you watch the show and see certain things she says, there is no value when it comes to, you know, her own body, although she can do whatever she wants to do. I just think it's very reckless and it's very wild. I mean, you can't say you love someone and then, I don't care if it's a situationship. I don't care if you say you love someone and you go and do that. Even if you sleep with them, why would you want to sleep with two people at the same time? That's wild. Just don't do that to yourself. Those are my thoughts, you know. So to me, don't, you know, type of man that I am, if I know you as a woman is doing that while I'm trying to get to know you, you're not going to get to know me anymore. Like, that's not what I want at all. I'm not going to go out there sleep with however how many people. Do you know what? I don't even want to date more than one person at a time. I mean, those things cost, you know. I don't want to date more than one woman at a time. So if you're not gonna, you know, there's no commitment, no nothing. If you're not gonna at least take time to see, could I be something? Then there's no reason why we need to continue that situation. So that's me.
With that, 100%. JR, what's your thoughts? I love you, and then, you know, what? Yeah, haven't done sleeping together. What's that? Are you in a relationship or what at that point, or is it you still out here gallivanting?
Nah, I think when that love word's used, you gotta stay true to that feeling and stay true to that person. Try build what you can with it, and you know, this is a Love Island couple, so I don't really hold much faith in their relationship. If I remember correctly, I was loosely watching it, but she even dumped my man for another dude that left him hanging clean, even though she knew that they had a connection. So you know, I think them wanting to, well, her specifically talking about dating other people and all this other stuff, yeah, that's pretty crazy. It's either you're invested and you've used the L word. You know, don't treat that as something frivolous, because that type of connection where you build it and you're able to express that to someone, that's a very vulnerable moment. So, you know, a lot of people wish they could have partners and people like that telling them that they love them every day and doing all that stuff. Don't throw it away and waste it by going to establish connection and get involved in madness with other people. Pregnancies happen, STIs, STDs, you know, a whole lot of drama can come with that. So yeah, just keep it on one person, man. And if you got that love connection, build off that. Don't be greedy.
Other points. I'd love to hear it. Jeff, talk to me. Yeah, I love you. And then you enter the stratosphere of the person's atmosphere of the inner Squidwards. Are you? Does that mean now you know you're gonna be open to dating still, or is that a lockdown thing?
Okay, at that point, I don't do situationships. I don't, because that's not love. That's lusting in a situationship. Yeah. First and foremost, when it comes to the whole love thing, it's nothing more than a social experiment for chemistry with very low retention rates when it comes to actual long-term relationships. Only one I've actually seen so far that actually works is Tommy and Molly, and even that one is still up for debate for me. You know, like when it comes to love has to be something that's timed and tested. It's a long-term thing, not a short-term thing. And this whole idea of I say I love you and then literally I just jump on Twitter, yeah, I'm just monkey branching at this point. I'm not into the whole one night stand and just using the word love frivolously because it means something. The word, do you know how deep love actually is? That expression to care for somebody through thick and thin. I'm not with this whole I am in love, emotionally infatuated with you. I'm not with that. Like, I have to be emotionally invested into the person because I'm looking to do life with this person. So I'm not going to be throwing away something as I don't see love as cheap to me. I don't. So that can't be me. Nope.
Appreciate that, Jeff. Max, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, if I've understood it correctly, they were intimate with each other. Then they said, I love you. Then they were going to be exclusive at some point later on. So to me, if that's the hierarchy of things, that's already confusing because you like, why is sex and I love you so kind of like, oh yeah, those ones is simple, but commitment, no, that's a massive thing. Like that's kind of, that's a different order to the way I would do things personally. So I think that order of things is probably what opened them up to that situation where we're not exclusive. I might have told you I loved you. I might have been intimate with you, but we're not exclusive or we're not dating. So I feel like if they felt differently, they should have done that in a different order. So I don't blame her for coming to that conclusion that she could speak to somebody else because you should have locked it down if it was locked down. But instead you're telling me you love me. So I love you too. And I'm going to get to know other people. So I think we just have to choose our steps correctly and according to what we really mean and what we really want.
Yeah, Coach, can I quickly add something as well? Like, one, when you say I love you, what are you saying to? Are you saying love to the whole of a person or just part of a person? I just want to ask that question, you know, because I mean, there's a lot of STDs out here, but I'm also saying there's a lot of ETDs, emotionally diseases, that people are just so caught up in, you know, loving someone for an act rather than the fact of a person. I'm gonna just leave it at that.
The brother says love STDs and ETDs. You get me? Don't know. Everything you know is TD. Okay, that means TDJ. No jokes. But anyway, listen. So Jay, what's your sorry, that was inappropriate. I apologize, guys. What's your thoughts to this particular question? You know, being open, and you guys say I love you. You had sex. Does that mean now people are now open for a relationship, or does it mean they can be open for dating? Because that's what happened to them. So is that the way that things normally go? Should it be going that way? Tell us your thoughts.
We know which way. Look, I think, do you know what Max says is actually key. because it hasn't been locked down. I mean, situationship seems to be the norm. That's where the confusion lies, and I do agree with that. That to me is the way it starts. But I understand it's Love Island, so you're not going to be, most are not going to be quick to lock it down. But ultimately, if I'm engaging in all of that, and the girl I'm doing it with goes and does other things, I know she'll be upset if I did the same thing. But at the end of the day, I didn't lock it down. So, I mean, that more fool me. But I just think that's not, I think in a way to carry yourself, I don't care if it's a show, it's a no. Like, why would you want to carry yourself in that way in the first place? Especially if you want to be desirable to the man that you said you know, that you love. You know, it's the same thing with the guys, by the way. If you said I love, you know, and you're doing all of that from the first week, you know, why would you want to put yourself in that situation? I don't care if it's a show, it's just a messy way to live, honestly, because it confuses everything. Because then what's the point of the commitment then? But, oh, and what she said herself, by the way, is that in this day and age, how we think is the traditional old school way. Who doesn't sleep with no one? What she actually said was, if she wanted to sleep with someone as soon as she wanted to, that's it. No one should say anything. So to her, she doesn't see that situation as wrong. And before he pulled her up on it, she didn't see her sleeping with other guys if she wanted to was wrong as well. She didn't see it was wrong in the beginning. Which speaks to the mentality and perspective, which is what Paul was trying to allude to. Like, hold on a minute. Is that what you really think? Wow. Okay.
Fair point.
And can I just add, that's why I don't see much hope in this couple, because, you know, like, to be doing this on TV, like, there's a level of, okay, once the camera stop rolling, he's gonna potentially be with someone who's expressed that to the world. So everywhere they go together, you can argue that, you know, she's already let people know how she is. Could be embarrassing later down. So I think this is just a young relationship. I think they're early 20s or mid 20s or something like that. Like, you know, hopefully she grows out of that mentality. But like I said, love is a serious word. I think the older you get, the more seriousness you put, you know, the more serious you get with that word, because it's a quite vulnerable expression. Probably, and you know, love will make you do crazy things, because it's something that once you have that feeling for someone, then it usually allows you to look at them in a different light, or you let certain things slide, or you let certain things pass. And I think it's dating someone else, once you've said that, what's going to make you stay faithful then? Like, if you've been able to express that and you still have the tendency, the compulsion to want to date someone else, what's going to make you eventually lock it down if it isn't love?
Yeah, 100%. Quick thoughts then on this actual couple. What your thoughts are on Shaq and Tanya? If you watch the show, if you haven't watched it, then don't worry. I want you don't have to answer it. But what's your thoughts on Shaq and Tanya on this show in terms of what they've answered? They spoke about obviously her, you know, him dating, she allowing someone to date her ex and stuff like that. What's your thoughts on them as a couple? Right. So aside obviously the general now, what's your thoughts on them as a couple? Who let's go? Precious double blink. So she said that ain't me. Cool. Jay, let me get your thoughts on Tanya and Shaq as a couple, what you've seen on the show, what your thoughts are.
I actually don't remember how old they are, but I just think they're young. I think they're young, and they're a perfect example of a modern couple who have yet to actually find themselves. Have yet to understand, he's yet to understand himself as a man, and she's yet to fully understand herself as a woman. They both still have a young mentality about going, about how they go about things. And to me, they're just riding a wave. That's all they're doing. They're just riding a wave. That's it. In a couple of years' time, let's see what happens when they both mature, because 100%, their mind on certain things will change. They will start paying attention to new things. They'll start actually fully taking on board what, each other is saying. I mean, look at the whole conversation about, even when she's with a guy, a male friend, she knows that's going to be the next guy. I mean, like, we have this conversation all the time, but it's things like this that, as JR was saying, it doesn't pose any positivity for their future, because it's some of these little things and their perspectives and how they're dealing with things that actually point to, this is not going to last long unless there is a change. Because I just look at it as an immature relationship, to be fair.
Cool, thank you. Anyone else want to jump? Anyone else want to have a say on this, on their thoughts on the couple, actual couple? Yes, Jeff, go for it.
Yeah, I would say that from what I've seen, there is a level of immaturity that they're presenting. I think personally, more on Tanya's side, I think she might be woefully unaware of certain dynamics between friends and family. Because if you're cool with your friend basically going out with your ex, first and foremost, you don't know what thing your ex told your friend about you. Because I believe she once said, I think in the interview with Paul, that she gets advice from a friend. So how do you know that the ex is not feeding certain things to your friend about you? That's something I'm like wondering about that. Then the idea that I remember Shaq saying in the initial stages of the relationship, he is more connected with his sisters, that his sisters were more or less checking, to see if him and Tanya would work out and stuff like that. But yet she found it weird that, if his sisters didn't like him, didn't like her, then it'll be an issue. But then when Shaq decided to flip it on him, now it's okay. Basically, I'm sensing this lack of principle in terms of what they want to establish between each other. I'm not sure about the relationship personally, I'll say. And I think what I'm more concerned about is also attachment style. I think that my fear is if she has no issue regarding with sleeping with people and stuff like that, I wonder what her attachment style is like. If she's someone who's quick to just jump onto people like that, or if she's someone who's more in tune with her emotions. So that's my 2 cents on that.
Buzz, like it. Charlene, Precious, Max, do you guys anybody want to contribute towards this couple in terms of what your thoughts are? Yes, Precious, you were first, so go for it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think Tanya is interesting because even when she was talking about her vetting process with dating, not once did she say, I like this person, so this is the guy that I like the most, I'm gonna go with this guy. It was always, but he talks to me a lot, he's always calling me, what he was doing, there wasn't any I like him more than the other guy, so I'm gonna go with him. So I guess it just makes me wonder how much she is really just looking for relationships in which she kind of holds the leverage in some form or fashion. And maybe that makes her feel safe. And I think maybe that's where some of her double standards come from, of there's an element of kind of, I'll do what I want, why not? And then when it's on the other side, it's like, no. So it's just, I think she's not really that invested. And I think that's an issue. I don't think she's ever, I think maybe she at some point in her life got really invested and was hurt, or she's never really gotten invested like properly in a relationship, and has been with people who kind of make up the distance. I think Shaq comes across as somebody who puts in a ton of effort. He tries to be understanding. He tries to meet you halfway. He tries to be, puts in a lot of effort. And I think he's making up the distance just due to his personality. And I think eventually he's going to get tired. Now, I can't say for sure. I don't know the relationship, but it just seems as though he's making a lot more concessions than she seems to be. And I think eventually that's going to wear thin for him, or she's just going to get bored and leave anyway. So that's the only thing. I think they could work if she does a lot of self-reflection about what it is she actually wants in a relationship, what kind of boundaries she actually wants to respect for herself and the relationship. And I think also Shaq needs to be a bit more aware of what he's able to tolerate and not tolerate, because there were parts of it, like in the recent episode when he was talking to Paul, there was parts of it where he was very clear on his boundaries. And I think there are times where he comes out and he's very clear and you can go, okay, you're putting your foot down. But then other times it just feels as though he's kind of just, all right, okay, I understand. But I'm like, do you really? Like, I understand the whole, you know, what she was saying about, you know, I would date multiple people. I get that because, you know, that's just a dating pool. You will date more people, but the idea that you would then be intimate with those people too, that's a lot. So yeah, so I just think it's there's definitely a double standard there, and it's very glaringly obvious. And I think that is the generation where I think we're in that point now where those double standards that don't actually make a lot of logical sense are coming in. And so yeah, I don't know if it's gonna work, but I'm rooting for them because there's potential. I think they just need to work on it.
Appreciate it. Max, go for it.
Yeah, I think they said it was like their first real relationship or something. I'm thinking back to the first episode when she was saying stuff like, "Guys, I was honest with this one. Try it out." Like I feel like they're just at the beginning of getting comfortable with what a relationship will look like, what even a healthy relationship looks like. So I think they're just learning, to be honest with you. And yes, I don't really hold them to any particular standard other than, okay, they're learning themselves. They're getting to grips with their values, they're maturing. That's a process. And maybe when they finish that process or when they're further along that process, they may not be in sync anymore. Fine, but it works for now.
Cool. Appreciate that. Jeff, go for it. You want to just add something quickly? 1 minute, go for it.
Okay, quick. If they're really going through the motions of just trying to figure it out, my question is what standard or what guide are they following? Because it just seems that Shaq is a bit laissez-faire, you know, being a bit of a nice guy in some sense, being a little bit more understanding, whereas Tanya seems to be holding most of the cards in terms of how she wants her life to go. So I'm just wondering if they're truly figuring things out, because she was even surprised that Shaq had this boundary that, yo, if my sisters don't like you like that, this can't continue. Like, so this was the first time he actually was able to verbalize his wants and his needs. So this is happening already now when they've been together for some time. I just wonder how long the relationship can really last. That's all I'll say.
Thank you very much. All right, cool. Going on to the next couple. Solomon Bucci. This one's the one.
Definitely.
Hear me, the truth in love.
Like obviously with the example that you said, emotional intelligence also comes into play, that you don't just say it in such a brash way.
Or
because
online. No, what I said wasn't in a brash way.
But the thing is that is different, right?
Hold on a sec, babe. Can you read the tweet that I actually made?
Yeah,
went
you
viral?
actually read the whole thing.
I could just, there's a punchline.
No. You can't.
The tweet was mad. I can't even lie to you. The tweet, I don't even have it with me, but the tweet was mad. There was madness in the air when he made his tweet. And I just want to say this, that's how you know I'm a bit ticked off by this one. He has gaslit her so much that she's even gaslit herself. That's how much he's gaslit her. He's gaslit her so much to convince her that what he said was appropriate, that she's even convinced herself that it was appropriate what he said. Meanwhile, I remember the podcast that she came up with and actually said that when he first wrote it, she asked him to rewrite it. So she knows that what he said is nonsense. Yeah, that's what I'm saying to you. Absolute nonsense. But when you're in it, you're in it. You know, one thing I have to commend him on is that, you know, she said if he's going to go down, we'll go down with him. Okay, so you know what? At least they're going down together. But the gaslighting has worked so well, she gaslit herself. You know what I mean? But what's your guys' thoughts on Solomon Bucci and his wife? I apologize, I've forgotten her name now. I guess obviously, you know, I would love to hear your perspective on them. And also, if you remember the tweet, if you do remember the tweet, I'll find it in the background if I can. Would it be a problem for you if your partner came out and said what Solomon Bucci said about his particular partner? I will get the tweet out whilst I'm looking for it behind the scenes. But Jay said, So Jay, talk to me. You go first, bro. Set the pace.
I mean, it'd be good to read it out, to be honest with you, for, you know, our American.
I'll get it for you behind the scene.
Because it went viral, but I'm not sure how viral it went. But to cut a long story short, before it comes up, he said that his wife is not the most attractive person in the world. I think he even said not the most intelligent. The point that he was trying to make, that he says, was that I'm saying that my love for you supersedes all of these things. You know, I'm not trying to chase, I guess, what every other guy is trying to chase, etc. But it comes across as wild. And for me, if you feel like your wife understands where you're coming from, then keep that private. You know, for someone who already was quite popular on social media across the African diaspora, you know what social media is like, and you know what's going to happen. That's why, for me, I do agree. It's a gaslighting situation, because why would you do that? Why would you put that on social media? Why would you tear your wife like down like that? It makes no sense. It's not what a man should be doing. You should be lifting your missus up. You know what I mean? If she's the most beautiful woman in the world to you, genuinely, tell her that face to face. And if you're gonna post something, you say it on social media too. You don't try to be clever or try to be special. To me, that's a bit wild.
Thank you. Max, go for it. I'm finding a tweet for you guys. So
I feel like they were on the same page with it in the end. So that's good. I think I actually agreed with how he was asking Paul to read it in context, because at the end of the day, if you want him to explain, give him everything so that he can explain it properly. So I feel like Paul just wanted to almost like catch him out in a sense, but just read what he said in its entirety so he can break it down however he wanted to break it down. I wouldn't personally appreciate that message. Even though, as I've listened to different things where they've broken it down, I get what he was trying to say. And I do agree that with some of the points that he was making, I do agree with it. But yeah, I just think the delivery in the society we live in, it just doesn't work.
So I have the post that he actually put up originally. Thank you, Max. And this is what he said. I'll read it quickly to you guys. It says, "You're not the most..." Hey, it's even started off wild. Ooh, baby. Let me read, because it started off mad already. "You are not the most beautiful woman. Hey, neither are you the most intelligent woman. But like I've chosen to never find perfection in anyone else, I put my gaze on you. And with that commitment, we would mold ourselves for ourselves. Our perfection is in our commitment." Stating that you're not the most beautiful, intelligent might sound like it's not a compliment, yeah, but it's a realistic base for real love. Acknowledging that my woman isn't the best, but I'm not looking for the best. I was looking for you and I found you. There's no best. There is just someone you choose and see the best in them. This to me is a real love, not the one that consoles itself in the false reality that their partner is the most good-looking, most intelligent, most successful person in the world. That's disingenuous and doesn't give room for love to thrive. I love you, Anya Faye. I'm committed to you. I miss you so much, but my love for you is stronger than distance. That is what he said about his wife on Twitter. That is what he said on his wife on Twitter. I want to know, after reading that, that's what he's defending. And he's saying that, we misinterpreted what he actually said at the time. What your thoughts are to that, now you have that in your perspective. JR, yes, you haven't said anything. You want to say something? And I'll go Jeff after. Sorry, Jeff.
Yeah, I think he meant what he said, and he said what he meant. Somehow he's convinced her, or she's under the impression that it wasn't what it was, but it was quite clear from the tweet. I don't think that you can call your wife your girlfriend, things like that. You can't say that, and you can't even think that. Attraction is a huge part of why you're together in the first place. So if you're ready to drop those type of comments, like that's not a good thing. And to be honest, he did catch a lot of heat, but she still stuck around. She still stayed with him, despite all of the controversy at the time. And even now, sitting down in front of Paul, she's still there, rock solid. And she didn't see anything wrong with it. She kind of understands what it meant. So I thought that was wild too.
Jeff, go for it. I want to know, would you tell your girlfriend now, currently, would you tell her that she's not the most beautiful Would you tell us you're not the most intelligent? Would you put that on Twitter for us to see so that we know what point you're making? Go for it, Jeff. Unmute yourself and tell us the truth.
I will tell you this, my friend. If
Mhm.
I tell my girlfriend what Solomon told is what, I'll be a damn fool to do something like that. Like, first and foremost, like, keep your negative comments to yourself. That's all I'll say towards that. First and foremost, if he's saying that, oh, you're not the most intelligent girl or the most attractive again, then why are you with her then? Why are you with her if she's not the most attractive or intelligent towards you, right? There's a lack of emotional intelligence, clearly. Oh, he said he's emotionally intelligent. Oh, he said, according to Paul, that he understands sentimentality. So why didn't he put it into practice when he needed to? Like, all he could have simply said was, listen, you're attractive towards me. The moment you literally say, oh, you're not the most intelligent, you're literally comparing your significant other towards other people. You are literally outing your woman like that. And a man is meant to protect this woman, especially when it comes to her emotions. And when it comes to attraction, aesthetic features, the thing that in this world, in this day and age, that women are judged for, the last thing you want to do is make her feel like, oh, you were just settling for me, right? And then he doubles down by saying, oh, I understand the sentimentality, but it is a fact. So him in his own pride, he can't even just say, I took an L. I shouldn't have said what I said. I should have been more mindful towards my girl's feelings and not pour it out like that, right? So for him to now act as if that we're all stupid, as if we didn't read what we read in context, and then you want to now manipulate the situation to make it seem as if, oh, I was now so I was so spiritual in my showcasing my love to my wife. And again, Paul, he went left when he said, apologize to the world. No. That was towards his wife. But if you're making a declaration like that towards your wife, keep it private then. If he didn't want the backlash, he should have kept it private, said what he said. If the wife can take it, then fine, do it privately. The moment you decide to go and put it out on social media, what do you think was going to happen? So for me, my girl, I can never in a million years ever do something like that towards her, because it makes me look like a prick that I don't take her feelings into consideration. And my girl, to me, is the most beautiful, attractive woman in the world to me, because I'm the one that picked her. So that's my 2 cents on that.
Good points. Who hasn't answered? Everyone's answered on this question on Solomon Bucci. Precious, you haven't gone for it. Go for it. Tell us the Nigerian perspective. Let us know. Maybe it's a love language that you guys love, because you guys love to abuse each other. Tell us, maybe that's a love language that he's speaking there. You know what I mean?
We do not like to abuse each other at all. I don't know.
Are you sure? When I did deal with some Nigerian women, they like to abuse you for flirting.
No, do you know what it is? Actually, I was speaking to somebody about this. Africans are actually very romantic. I think as colonization has gotten involved, that romance has been distorted a bit, but they actually are inherently quite romantic. But anyways, moving on. I think in this situation, it's really sad to see a husband, talk about his wife in this way, because yes, the cliche thing is, no one's perfect, no one is 100% of 100%. Of course, there's another girl out there who's prettier than me, or who might be more intelligent, or might have a better body, or whatever. Of course, there's always going to be somebody who subjectively anyway may look better than you, or maybe better than you in some aspect. That's just the case. But it's the same for men too. I think when you're looking for somebody, you're looking for a partner, you're looking for somebody who you like, who you find fun, who you find intelligent, smart, kind, loving, all these things. And no one can be 100% about 100%, but they can be what you need and what you want. And I think that's what's the most important thing. I think when you're leading with what you're leading in this kind of negative, shortcoming way, but it's like, one, she's actually a very beautiful woman. That's the part of it that really irks me more than anything. I'm like, what are you talking about? 2, she comes across as intelligent. yes, she might say some things I'm giving the side eye, but she doesn't come across as dumb. She comes across as well-spoken, intelligent, well-read. So all of these things that you're saying, like, I don't understand where it's coming from. And I think sometimes what happens is, what I do find is people choose pragmaticness so much that they become devoid of any emotion, devoid of any emotional intelligence. And it becomes this like, almost like, oh, I have to be the provocative person. I have to say something that's provocative and pushes the needle or pushes the conversation or challenges people. And it's like, you're not doing any of those things. All you're doing is rustling feathers and upsetting people. And you're not actually relaying the message that you think you're relaying. They spent a lot of time in that episode talking about speaking with love and speaking with kindness. And I think that entire tweet that you posted didn't feel like you were speaking with love. You could have cut out that whole first half and just said, I love you, I'm committed to you, I'm committed to us thriving. And that would have been super, super sweet. You would have gotten loads of love. It would have been amazing. But you decided to focus on the things that in your mind your wife isn't, rather than all the things that she is. And you decided to lead with you decided to lead with the subtraction rather than the adding. And I just feel like that is something that is doing a disservice to your wife. It's doing disservice to your marriage. And I just know, for me, I don't know many Nigerian women who would accept that. That's number one. A lot of Nigerian women would be like, I don't know who you think you are talking to. That's number one. And I just think it's not kind. It's not kind when you can't compliment your partner on either side. Men want to have compliments. They want to feel like you think they're the best thing since sliced bread. Women want to feel like their husbands or boyfriends think they're the best thing since sliced bread. Like, it's not rocket science. Why wouldn't you want your partner to think you're amazing? You don't have to do this whole big thing of like, you're the most beautiful woman in the world, because quite frankly, in the back of my head, I'd be like, you're lying. But at least you can compliment me and mean it and not take that away from me. So yeah, I think it's unfortunate. I think he didn't need to do that. It was unprovoked. That's another thing. It was really unprovoked. Like, who asked you for what reason? What was the reason? In Cardi B's case, what was the reason? I don't understand.
Yeah,
Go for it. Yep.
I also got to add that the fact is, it seems that with Solomon, negativity is reality for him. Positivity is too much of an idealistic perspective, you know.
It's the pragmaticness.
You probably call it you'll call it a feminist perspective or something like that, knowing him. But the issue I have also with him is that he said, in terms of his defense, to justify it, he said that both of us are not the most attractive and intelligent people. He said that, and he meant that. Why didn't he put that in his tweet? Why didn't he put that in his tweet? And if he knew that, unless of course you are deliberately wanting to manipulate the situation and put the person that you claim to love down, you're deliberately doing that. So, and also this, when it comes to romance or showing love, for me personally, there is a time for objectivity and subjectivity in the way you express your love for someone. There has to be a balance. To me, if I'm with someone that I care about and love, she is my world and I am hers, and I love her to bits. There's a time and a place for that. How I show, how I express it, that I have to be someone who is initiating the love language that she needs from me, and we're reciprocating that. The moment I'm not doing that, do I truly love the person that I claim to love, or am I just simply using her as some form of a power play or leverage? I just have to ask.
It's true. You gotta give people affirmations, man. We're not islands. You can't do this alone. We need the affirmations. We need the compliments. Kojo was giving me a reaction before. I want to know what that reaction was for.
Oh no, I was just laughing. I was being silly. Yeah, it wasn't a reaction. I was just being silly. Okay. Any last little points? Just quick 1 minute takes on this situation before we change it. The next couple, because I think their situation.
What about you? What do you think?
Oh, because I've done a whole video on it, I was like, I didn't want to say it, but in reality, I think Solomon Bucci's let me be careful what I'm going to say, but it's leading towards emotional abuse. It's the steps before. It's the steps before. So I'm not saying he is right now, but I'm saying it's the steps before you get to that place, because like Jeff was saying, it's quintessentially the one thing that I realized about Solomon Bucci, and I think Charlene put in the chat as well. He uses his intelligence to mask things. Also, if you actually watch the episode, he actually silences her on few occasions. As she goes to contribute, he actually cuts across her and says, hey, hold on, babe, wait. And when you add all those things together, you're starting to realize the person is wanting to control the narrative. And so in that space, and the fact that she also at the very beginning, well, like I said, when she put the podcast out, that was not her take. Her take was at first, when she heard it first, and she trying to play it off herself. When she heard it first, she was like, So, you know, she knew that the first take of it wasn't that great. But, you know, she's changed her tune. Now, of course, you want to come in alignment with her husband. I get it. But he's still kind of shushing you a little bit. And that gives me pause for concern. The fact that he's still defending the tweet and not coming out and being honest about it. Jeff, what you pointed out is absolutely paramount. What I also saw as well, which is that he's changed it now and said, oh, hold on a minute. You know, actually, it's both of us. Well, if you knew it's both of us, if both of us are ugly and clapped, you need to say that. Right, but you didn't say that, and you said you've got a degree in mass communication or whatever, so you know that intentionally what your communication is actually doing, and you're still trying to intentionally miss it, which means now you're doing it on purpose. Now I have to consider you an abuser because you're intentionally trying to do it. See, it's different. If someone says they don't really know, they didn't made a mistake, I can rock with it. But now you're telling me you know exactly how to communicate. You know exactly what you're trying to communicate. The first few lines that you've communicated, we've even told you, hey, maybe you're from Nigeria and you've come to England. It's not an excuse really, but let's give him a little bit of an excuse. We're going to let you know that English that you've used is incorrect. He still hasn't corrected it. He doesn't want to correct it. At that point, I know that you're trying to hurt your wife. And no matter how much your wife can tell us and say that she's cool with what she heard, she lies. Because it's a lie. Because as a human being, nobody wants to hear that you ain't the finest thing since sliced bread. Nobody wants to hear that. Right? I don't need that dose of realism. I really don't. I already know I'm not the finest thing since sliced bread. I know there's someone finer than me. I already know that as a human being. I know there's someone more handsome or there's a better woman out there for me. But I would never say it to you because to you, me, in my world, you the finest thing since sliced bread. So that kind of quote unquote, I'm trying to be real about it, is that's why I'm saying he's on the steps to abuse. So I'm a little bit concerned. I would say it's more that he's now I think he's more using it as a way of negging her a little bit and trying to keep control and just kind of keeping her down. I personally think I think personally, he got a little bit of misogyny in his system. And I think he's afraid of her intelligence because this is not somebody who's dumb. This is somebody who has a degree. She's well-versed. She's gone to school. She's educated very, very well. I feel like this is a way of trying to keep control of the woman because you have an insecurity. And that is playing all into the situation. So I don't like it personally. He can laugh and smile all he wants. I don't like it. You ain't going to gaslight me and you ain't going to lie to me. The evidence is on the screen. That was some bullcrap. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Okay. All right. That's my thoughts on that. Last couple we're going to play. Last couple. They were interesting. Because they had a situation too. This couple, yeah, they are funny. I'll be with them, and then I'll be against them. They say some stuff, and then I'll be like, yeah, great. And then they say something, I was like, hey, I don't know if this is even biblical what you're saying. It's not even proper theology what you're saying, some of it. So let me play a little bit of clip, and then I'm gonna let you guys jump in. I know you're ready to tell us your thoughts on this couple. Okay.
You know, sometimes their message just gets blurred. But if you look at their overall message, how in sync they are, how passionate they are, I think we could actually get a good message from these guys. They're not as bad as some of you might think. I personally, I like them. You might even see me in their church. You never know. I'm just saying.
And also, the Bible says that those that put their trust in God shall never be put to shame.
Mm-hmm. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. One thing to have children in your own time, you're leaning on your own understanding.
You guys are having fun.
Yeah. Yeah. You understand?
Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. With all your heart, acknowledge Him. And He will direct your path.
Then
He will
it's
direct
conditional.
your path. Yes.
It's then.
Thank you.
He will now what?
Direct your path.
And God will not direct you to darkness.
No.
He's light.
Yes. And He will not cause you to suffer.
No. Not cause you to stumble.
Get people understand.
The Bible also says that how those that serve God, will serve, God, He will now bless their bread.
And then what?
And what happens?
Yes, He said He will take away sicknesses from them.
Mhm.
There will be no barrenness
And
in their land.
in other words, they'll fill the number
Of their days.
In other words, premature death
Will be
cannot touch
taken
them.
away from them
You cannot serve God
and suffer.
and service sickness. You can never serve God and service sickness.
And this is where it comes from when people have problems with pastors, living a good life. You're
Yeah.
thinking they're eating church money. Honey, there ain't no money in church.
No.
Pastors have businesses.
Businesses.
Yes, there are
Avenues.
some pastors that abuse church money here and there, but God provides. Whoever God calls, He provides for.
Yes.
So there's
I have to say they are the most entertaining couple. They are on point. Wrong as I thought some of the things that they said are, they're on point. They are hilarious and they finish each other's sentences off. Listen, I can't hate on them too tough. You know what I mean? I can't. I love them together. I love hearing them together. If you're gonna be wrong together like that. You know what I mean? If you're gonna be wrong like they will literally finish each other's sentences off. But I'd love to get your guys' perspective on them because I think it's quite interesting. Like I said, I think that they actually give some good advice, in some of the things that they speak about. I think when they start to go to scripture, this is where I start getting concerned. Some of the way they break down theology, it's not in alignment. That's what I'm going to say. It sounds very prosperity gospel-y, but, that's my opinion. But what's your guys' thoughts? What's your guys' thoughts? What y'all think? What y'all think? Yes, Jeff.
I thought it was kind of cute, them finishing their sentences. Like they got that, that synergy, that back and forth, that camaraderie. That's kind of nice, Definitely, if you guys are gonna be wrong, literally, you might as well be synergizing whilst also being wrong doing it. Hallelujah. But actually, no hallelujah, because I did not like the fact that at times, from a theological tip, definitely prosperity gospel. Like I was just thinking to myself, I hope they're not another SPAC 2.0. Like I really hope they're not that case, because obviously, one, riches are not guaranteed. Two, we're living in a time where people are already overextending themselves when it comes to the socioeconomic situation in the UK. So when you're now talking about prosperity and linking Jesus up with it, there are red flags for me. But sometimes they'll be conflating truths that they will say with things that are not with scripture. And I'm like, I don't know how to make heads and tails of this. So I'll simply say that, yeah, stay away from scripture, get your theology right, but keep the synergy, keep the camaraderie. It's good. It's good.
I like it. It's good. Precious, what's your thoughts on this relationship? They do run their own church as well, by the way, and they are giving. I can't lie to you, they are giving SPAC. I can't lie to you, 2.0. Just the way they talk. But anyway, go on.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was very kind of like they were speaking in scripture, and I think something that kind of makes me feel like is because if you can't relay the same message but in just layman terms, I'm concerned about what's happening here. When they were talking about the whole pastor having money and things like that, and I was like, they were like, oh, there's no money in the church, pastors have their own businesses and all these things. And I've always been somebody who said, look, if you're a man of clergy or something, or woman of clergy or whatever, your source of income shouldn't be coming from the church. So I agree, you should have other sources of income, you should have a job, you should have all the things that you're doing to support yourself. But it did come across like say, oh, if you just automatically follow the Bible, automatically believe in God, all those things, somehow you'll become a multimillionaire, have all this money, businesses, prosperity. And it reminded me of somebody that I'd spoken to recently, and he was very much in this mindset of all these. There's these like principles of how to make money and be successful, and it's doing this and doing this and doing this, and I'm like, great, but that's not a guarantee. Like nothing is ever a guarantee in life. So it does come across a little bit kind of like, you do this, we'll promise you this, and that's just not how your relationships with God work. Like the whole point of having faith is that it's there whether you're in the up or you're in the down, and the whole point is that the faith is supposed to be that foundation that keeps you afloat no matter where you are in life, type thing. But they do seem like, as you guys said, to be in synergy. They seem to be happy. I do somehow though, I won't lie, I get friendship vibes from them. I don't get like man and wife, like husband and wife. I love this man, romantic love. This is my role doll. Like I don't get that from them. I get like this is my best friend and we love hanging out with each other. Like I don't get that, like there's chemistry, but it's not romantic chemistry. It feels very much like they're, they're brethren. So like they're just doing what they need to do. They're just having a good time. And it doesn't feel like you don't get this like romantic, like, oh, they're in love type thing. So I don't know. I just they're cute. They are cute. They seem happy, but yeah, I don't know. It's a bit bizarre. It is a bit like, those people who like they only talk to you in a certain language and it kind of brainwashes you into listening to them rather than speaking in layman's terms and using those scriptured examples in ways that actually make sense to who you're communicating with. You're just throwing back and forth scriptures and it's like, okay, feeling a bit left out. What's happening here? So yeah. But they're cute.
Thank you, Pressure. Appreciate that. Max, what's your thoughts?
No, I was just thinking about what Precious was saying, actually. Like, it does give friendship vibes. And until she said that, I hadn't really, like, pinpointed it. Because they do seem really different. I know everyone's kind of spoken about the synergy and the bouncing off each other. But yeah, something does seem different about their dynamic in that sense. In terms of them as a whole, I don't even know what that clip was supposed to be about. I don't even remember what question he asked them because they were just talking about like pastors and having money and this and that. And I was like, okay, like what are we actually supposed to be talking about here? But yeah, I like you, Kodra. I think there was points where I was like, oh, that's good advice, or that's a nice take, and that has some value. And then bits that I was like, oh, that kind of takes it a bit strange. And so yeah, I'm kind of confused on them. I can't really I can't seem to really pinpoint them. There's just so much going on with them, to be honest. But I think one thing that's interesting that I will say is that it seems like only the Christian couples are married on this show and everyone else is dating, and I think there might be something in that as well.
Good final point on that. Yeah, that could be a point too. JR.
I definitely hear what Precious and Max are saying. I feel like they team up and they quote scriptures, but they bamboozle you. Like they kind of, the way they reverse the table on the host, on Paul, like, because it's meant to be him asking them questions and all of that. They flipped it clean. They started spitting bars to him and had him looking like raw, like watching a tennis match, looking from left to right, thinking, what's happening here? Like, what's going on? So I think that's something that they actually do in their communication styles, whether it's together or as individuals. I think they seem very close, but I also think that I don't know if I got friend vibes, but I think they're very close. I think they're very close as a couple. And through the spiritual aspect, I think, and the religious aspect, I think they've bonded, and that's played a significant part in their relationship, which goes to what we were speaking about earlier. So for that couple, it looked like their aligned beliefs actually allowed them to gel a lot more than some of the other couples that we've seen on this episode. But yeah, listen, I couldn't even keep up. It was too much back and forth. Like I was even looking around, like, what's going on here? I thought the even though you speeded up the clip and you just replayed it, that's literally how it came across to me when I watched it the first time. So, like, yeah, I just think they're very aligned and a very close couple, and they kind of sing from the same hymn sheet. Excuse the pun.
Cheers for that, JR. Thank you. Jay, talk to me. What's your thoughts on this situation?
So I followed well, his name is actually Pastor Onyeka Power.
Pastor Onyeka Power.
I followed him for quite a long time actually, and what I actually liked originally was how many times they go out to evangelize, and I like that. I love that on fireness that he had. But what I noticed was that he speaks in a way that he's able to capture. Depends where they are, but he's able to capture the baby Christian. Now, I'm not saying it from a positive point of view. I'm saying it from a very dangerous point of view. It's because I guess what we're saying is where you need to give things layman terms for people to understand, it is very easy to be captivated by the prosperity, by the motivational, by things that sound great or sound like you know what you're talking about. I'm not saying they don't. I've just acknowledged looking at certain people in the church, looking at how they are, and how they was on camera, by the way, is how they are in general. There wasn't any different on camera for this show than there was in their church and everything. But my concern is about people that are new, or people that are questioning, or people that are not as strong in faith or strong in the word. Just read the Bible for yourself and understand and learn. That's the main thing that when I encounter people like this, just be careful. But for people that do go to the church, I understand they speak like people already go to their church. They speaking to their church members. They don't know how to turn it off. So they're throwing scriptures here, they're throwing scriptures there. If you know the scripture, you probably don't have a problem. But there's certain things that I noticed. There's a difference between scripture and opinion. And I've seen a lot of opinion, thrown in there, which you have to be able to differentiate as a pastor and let your flock know. As it comes to their relationship, I understand what everyone's saying. I feel like it's two people who were on fire for Christ, who have found each other and were encouraged to probably be together because it would create what's happening now. So I can understand why there isn't, for us anyway, that spark or that true loveness that probably we're expecting to see or used to see. But how many pastors and wives do we usually see that with anyway? Which is a problem, by the way. I do want to see that more. Like those people actually having loving relationships and showing it and not being afraid, and not just every single minute is just based on scripture. Like you have a life outside of the church that you're in. You have a life outside of just reading the Bible. Let's see more of that, right? But yeah, I don't have a particular great issue with them. I just have a concern for people listening to them and what they do with that information.
Yeah, listen. I mean, personally, listen. I think I don't know. I haven't really heard their history. I did see them on live on TikTok when the show actually was about to be dropped. And then the live's actually on my YouTube. Actually, you can actually watch it there. And when I watched it, I was like, "It's giving SPAC." I can't lie to you. It's giving a branch shoot off of SPAC. It's giving SPAC energy. Just because the way they talk and the way they're ministering, well, at least the gentleman anyway, the way he ministers. Let me say that. But aside that, I think they actually do give some good advice. I think I'm not mad at some of the advice they give. It's the relationship aspect. I'm not really mad at the relationship aspect. It's actually more the theological aspect that I was concerned about. The actual relationship stuff seems to be pretty sound. I don't have any arguments about that. Like, you know what I mean? But it's the theology, okay? It's the principles of God will not make you be sick. God will not allow you to be this and that. That is not good theology. That is not correct theology. You can be sick, okay? You'll not die prematurely. What's premature? Do you know when someone's premature time is? Your time is not God's time. You know what I'm saying? So how do we even determine what premature actually is? Saying things like, if it's your fault that you're poor. Yeah, I need to start sending you money. At that point, I need to stop paying my tithes and offerings. Because clearly, you're right. I'm poor because of me. So you ain't getting none of my money again. And figure out your business. Because clearly, you know how to handle yours. You know what I'm saying to you? So when you start hearing that, then you realize that that theology is off, that it becomes... It's prosperity gospel. That's the theology where it's coming from, and so that's where I don't agree with them, and it doesn't sound good. But with the relationship aspect, I think it sounds pretty decent. I'm not mad at it, and they seem to be in sync. Now that story about how they got together, it was a bit sketchy. Okay, why, darling, you didn't take your ring off when you know you were starting to feel somebody is sketchy as heck to me. I think there's more to the story, and I think you guys not sharing the fullness, and that's okay. That's your business. You want to protect your relationship, and I'm not mad at it. But definitely, when you told that story, you might want to figure that out, because why are we keeping a ring on, you know? But anyway, yeah, go for it, Jeff. You want to add a little bit something?
Yeah, just add a little bit. I can sort of relate a little bit. That pastor reminds me a little bit a long time ago, because I would have been a baby Christian when Jay mentioned that a long time ago, when these prosperity gospel preachers came around. At a young age, I was very malleable, where I was sucked into the positivity. I think with these type of pastors, they come across very charismatic. They're able to articulate scripture in a way where they just say a little bit enough to get you on their side when it comes to positivity, but then they're able to just change and chop it and then make it all about the money. And it was also a point where I was caring so much about tithing, caring so much about wanting to give to get prosperity, when I didn't understand what he was actually saying. I wasn't studying scripture for myself. So when I saw that, I'm like, yeah, I saw that this guy, he may not even be concerned with the general welfare of the church. He may at the general welfare of the community. I mean, he may be more about wanting to just preach that typical Creflo Dollar type of style of preaching that has been so common in the US and stuff like that. So for me, when I saw that, I said, nah, this is a bit much. Red flag.
Just want to add a bit more as well onto that, because I forgot to address the money bit. But this is the point where I say, people, read your Bible for yourself so you understand, because there are certain things that people say, maybe because of opinion or maybe because it's what they was taught in faith, that if you know the Bible for yourself, you know how to handle that. You know how to deal with anyone who says certain things, right? And to me, yeah, originally it was a financial conversation, but I think eventually he realized, hold on, we can't just stick on finances, and he pivoted to, talking about spiritual and spiritual power and everything else, which I noticed that. And that's why I mentioned it's like they're talking to people in their church, because I've seen how they talk to people in their church. And that's what he started off really doing. That was his automatic mode. This is the mode I'm going into. But he didn't realize, hold on, that's not the platform that I'm on. So it's gonna come across as it has, because he failed to understand in that moment that his zeal for what he's saying, his zeal for Christ, is not going to translate in a way that it's supposed to, which of course he's translated in a very negative way, because that prosperityness of what he was saying, that's not, if you're sticking to a pastor or minister imparting to the flock, fine. But when you just boil it down to finances, no, that's not, you know what I mean? That's not the case. But it's because of the time that we live in. There are people who look at, if pastors have all this money, that means they must be powerful. But it's because of the mega church understanding, the mega church feel. And it's probably their vision, by the way. It's probably their vision. So that's why I can see what's happening there. So that's why for me, it just boils down to, for anybody, and this is a plea to anybody across the world, please read your Bible for yourselves. Please become mature in the faith for yourselves. Allow pastors and whatnot to help you get there. That's what they're supposed to do. But you have to be careful of people pulling you left and right or teaching you the wrong things. That's why, for me, and I mean, we can talk about this for hours. We can bring other people to conversation as well. But that's what's on my heart in general. Like, right now, I have the ability to kind of block things out and take what I know is proper. But I know not everyone can do that. So that's what's on my heart.
Well, as always, anyone else want to say last words before we jump off this? Because we've got the before we jump off. I don't know if Max or Press want to add anything, or no? You good?
Just want to say that, everyone should be having healthy, happy relationships where they give their partners compliments and words of affirmation, and they show that chemistry, and they're with them in love and prosperity, and in hard times, and in sickness and health, unless it's jail. I just want people to be happy, but we need to be happy with sensibility and with positivity and balance. That's what we want.
Boy, Solomon got you. You got you hurt.
Yeah, and as Kojo likes to say, make sure you're keeping the minerals up. You know, you just
You're doing wife duty. See the support. Wow, that's what we need. Yes. There we go.
There you go. Well done.
Support the team. There you go.
I love how you guys are all doing that. Look at Kojo's face. He's ignoring the whole thing. The whole thing is just gone.
You can hear us, don't worry.
He's on Snapchat. That's what he's on.
I don't even have Snap. But anyway, Jay, could you give us the benediction, please, before Precious loses it? So don't really start with Kiki Palmer today. So
okay.
Also, can I just clear up because there's a bit confusion in the chat? Kiki Palmer is beautiful. That's not what we were laughing about. I just said that at some point someone said I look like Kiki Palmer, and the whole entire group was like, "You don't look like Kiki Palmer." So yeah, so I was.
You know, that's a fact. You know,
Basically, the group just said I was ugly, so it's fine. But we moved.
That's not what. Wow. Okay.
That's not what happened.
Don't try it.
No, I joke.
Chat. She also says she has brunette hair as well, by the way. So it was all
Yeah, she said she's a brunette. Oh wow.
Brunette.
We're not gonna get into this again before Kojo calls me Cookie again.
Yeah, so
sorry, Kojo's upset now. Apologies.
Anyway, so I don't even know what to say now, but yes, do you know what? This series is quite good. It just kind of reminds me of like a cheeky way of doing black love, and I like the fact that it's real couples as opposed to Kojo. What are you doing? Wow, what, bro? What are you doing?
My bad. I thought the screen was still on. My bad. My bad. The screen was still on. My bad. It was supposed to be on. I apologize.
Everyone is watching this year. Clip it and send it to him. You need to keep this in memories. Wow.
Meme this thing.
As I was saying, yeah. I even forgot where I was, so I'll just start again. So yeah, thank you everyone who's come in the chat, spoken your piece. Thank you all the panel again. This series is actually quite a good series. It just kind of reminds me of elements of black love. It's just real couples speaking. We don't have to agree with everything that they do or say. It's just their lives and their sharing. So end of the day, we're learning what to do and what not to do. We're taking pieces and seeing what works for us, what doesn't work for us. But it's good to have this conversation, especially as Black people. As we know, there is so much negativity out there when it comes to our relationships. Sometimes it's good to hear positivity. It's good to see people are together making it work as opposed to the negative news that we have. But the key things that come out of this is, just make sure you are unified, make sure you truly have a bond, make sure you can laugh together, make sure you can pray together, make sure you're, if you're not mature, but you're maturing. I think we're all maturing anyway. It's a non-stop process. And just make sure you love each other and respect each other. These are some of the foundations that we truly need. I don't know if Paul's still here, but big up Paul for creating the show. It's good content. It's real content. And yeah, we just love to see more of it. Can't wait to the next one.
Thank you very much, Jay. I'll definitely get Paul to come on here one time as well, because I was just talking to him behind the scenes as well. But listen, audience, thank you so much for joining us today. It's really much appreciated. We've enjoyed the time we spent together for the last 2 and a bit hours. It's been funny. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's been hilarious. I can't even play with y'all. It's been hilarious. And it's been wild. So we'll be back here next week. I'm sure episode 5 will come out and drop then. I don't know if someone asked about blue therapy. I don't know if you guys would want to do blue therapy. It's up to you guys. I would definitely put that out there as well. Thursday nights could be a very entertaining night too. So but yeah, listen, audience, like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification uploads. We appreciate y'all. Stay locked and stay loaded. We're gonna see y'all very, very soon. Okay, don't play with it. Don't play with it. Don't play with it. Okay, all right. This is my favorite meme now. Look, yep. When it gets you like this, you know you're in trouble. When it gets you like that. Like, share, subscribe.